we need to create a SiteUser object, a PHP object that we're going to use on this website here. So it's class SiteUser. And SiteUser, like all classes, is going to contain some properties. For instance, the username. So I've got variable $uname. I put a comma after that, and I'll do all the rest of them. User password, first name, last name, and then the user role will be, potentially admin, member, guest. Those are the properties of the object SiteUser, which of course those properties will have values. Now properties, these can all be a public scope, private scope, or a protected scope. Because I'm using VAR, it's actually a public scope. So it depends on the visibility you want. This is just for our purposes. It's not that important, but that doesn't mean in production it wouldn't be for you to keep some things private or protected. Now, the construction of this, the construct as function, 2 underscores, and construct. You notice I've got user, $user equals user, $pass equals pass, and so on. What that happens to be is if I do not specify the parameter for that, it will define it with that. So if I had created a SiteUser object with no parameters at all, it would show user, pass, first, last, and guest as the values of those particular properties. If we have the first 4 listed in a new SiteUser object, the 5th one, role, would automatically be assigned a value of guest. So in that, if I do specify, it'll say this $this is this object is what it's referring to. So this object's username is equal to whatever you put for $user. And the same thing for all the others. This upass is equal to $pass all the way down to this urole is equal to $role. And then we can also create a number of functions or methods like show user. This is what you would particularly do if you've protected them or have them in a private variables. You would need to use the function to access the variable. Public is a little less safe, but for our purposes it's going to be fine. So in this case, show user returns this uname, and I could have show pass that returns this upass. And full name, as an example, I would return $this fname dot, and then in quotes space dot, and then this lname. So that way, if your name was John Smith, it would return John space Smith.